my name is Maya and welcome to the episode 15 of the Mila Things Knitting Podcast, where I share my thoughts, process and other random things about all stuff fiber related, but mostly knitting. So today is the 3rd of February 2024 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. You can find me on Instagram as milahis.things and you can find links of everything I talk about down in the description box, as well as my measurements if you are interested. So today the program is pretty light, I guess, but we will see how long this takes. I am going to share about my gigantic finished object and also I have one whip and another smaller one that I will only talk about briefly. And I just noticed the plants on my balcony are having buds. It's the beginning of February. What's happening? This is not normal at all. Okay, fine. Anyway, sorry. I was saying, yeah, program for today, and I will also talk a little bit about my knitting journal. And I think that's it. Oh, I also have one very exciting knitting plan that I'm going to cast on probably next week, and I wanted to talk to you about that too. So, let's get started. First, what I am wearing. So this is a self-drafted thing, wrap or shawl or scarf, or I don't even know what it is. Probably more a blanket, but yeah, it's a garter and brioche design and it's absolutely gigantic. I will try to show it to you in its complete size, but I think it's impossible. It's just massive. So this is, it's reversible, but there is one side I prefer, of course. So here's one corner. I can't. This is the other corner. And it's a square, basically. So here's the other side. And then the bottom. So yeah, it's just massive. It's my size, actually. I just measured before. I'm sitting on it. If I take one side on the tip of my fingers and then the other on the other tip, it's exactly my wingspan, and I am 1.70 m, about 1.70 m. This is the other side. It's a tiny bit bigger on this side. So yeah, it's like a squarish rectangle. So yeah, I knit that. It took me 2 months, and this is almost exactly 600 grams of yarn, which is 6 skeins, 600 grab skeins of fingering weight yarn. And I cast it on the 3rd of December, and I finished it 2 days ago, so it took me 2 months to complete, which is kind of impressive. And that was not my only work in progress. I also finished a big colorwork sweater. And I also had some other stuff I was knitting at the same time, so yeah, it's just a humongous amount of knitting, but I did it. And as I mentioned, I used 600 grams of yarn, and I used the grey main color, is Naturalen by Acrophil, which is a Swiss producer of yarn, dyer and producer, I think. And I bought it at a festival in October, and the contrast colors are actually what sparked the need for this knit, because they are leftovers from my Steven West Mystery Knit Along from last year, the Twist and Turn shawl. And I had so many leftovers, and I hate leftovers, and I just wanted to use them up. I was tired of having them laying around in my stash, so that was 90 grams of the blue, the dark blue, which is called Whale, Oh, by the way, the base is from Chink Fiber and it's the Dashing Sassy base, which is a single ply fingering weight. I think it's a blend of merino and silk, so it's very, very drapey. And yeah, it's very lovely. And so I had 90 grams of this one, I had 80 grams of this one, the grey, and 50 grams of this one, which are very odd quantities. Very difficult to find a project to use everything. So yeah, I thought about a lot of different patterns because I knew I wanted some brioche. I knew I wanted a shawl basically because it's a very drapey and silky yarn and I didn't want it to have a garment in that. So I wanted a shawl, but I couldn't find the perfect pattern for the quantities I had. So I decided to just do something myself and use everything I had. And I used absolutely all the yarn. I maybe have a tiny nugget, like 5 meters of the blue left, this one, but that's all. And I have this much left of the main color. That's mainly because that's probably not enough to complete a whole row, because the bigger rows are like 300 stitches or something. And I didn't want it to like do half of the bind off and then run out of yarn, so I just bind off early and I have this left, and that's all. So that's how I used all my leftovers and all my yarn in this project, and I'm super happy about it. I used 300 grams of the main color, and that wasn't enough actually because I ran out just before completing the shawl. So I had to buy another 50 gram skeins. Fortunately you can buy either 100 grams or 50 gram skeins. So I bought a half skein, and then I completed because I was on the brioche section, and I completed the brioche section, and then I had like half of the skein left, and I was like, I don't want to have 25 grams of this weird yak and silk blend, because the main color is 50% yak and 50% silk, so also very drapey and luxurious and silky. But I wouldn't have anything I wanted to do with 25 grams of this, so I just completed I just used everything in the shawl, and that's why the middle section, I didn't say something very important. I knit that in 2 halves. So as I said, this is a triangle. No, it's a square. And I cast on one angle, and I increased on both sides to get a triangle. And then when I completed the first triangle, I kind of guessed that because I had used half of my contrast colored yarns. So when I use half, I just put the stitches on hold, and then I cast on the second half exactly the same way, knit a second triangle, and then I grafted the two of them together using a 3-needle bind off. But since I wanted to use all my yarns, so this one is the first, I completed the brioche section, and then I did like 2 rows of garter in only the main color. This is the grafting line here. And then I switched to the second one. And then I completed, I think I had to buy another skein and I had to join it about there. So I completed the brioche. And then I was left with tiny nuggets of the dark blue and the grey. And I didn't want to have them laying around either, so I decided I will just knit them in, since I have the leftovers, since I have too much of the grey anyway. So I just knit that. So I have like 2 stripes of dark blue and then 3 stripes of the grey. And then I just finished the main color ball and I grafted the 2 halves together. And I figured since this gigantic thing is just going to lay all folded over on myself, this wouldn't be really noticeable, so even if it doesn't look good at all, I think it's kind of hidden when I wear it anyway, so it's okay. I don't care. And yeah, I managed to finish all my leftovers and all my yarn, and I'm just so happy about it. It just feels so satisfying and perfect. It's just worked out and I'm so happy. So yeah, in the end it's quite heavy because it's still 600 grams of yarn, but I wanted to have something super big and squishy because I was actually missing that in my knitted stuff closet. I have a big store-bought shawl. I forgot to cut an end. I just spent 1 hour before filming cutting all my ends, but I still forget some. I'm not sure I have woven this one in, so I probably won't cut it, because that would be... yeah, it's woven on the wrong side. It's okay. Whatever. Yeah, so I was saying, I have a wrap or scarf or stuff that I bought in a random store. That's a color that doesn't really suit me, and I just wanted something knitted to replace that. And so that's what drove me to the idea of knitting this. And that's also why I wanted to have it gigantic. And the way I was planning on wearing it is... it's so big. Something like that. Kind of, so it doesn't really look good, but that's how I am always... that's like my uniform. Whenever I go out, I just throw on a super big shawl so that it covers all my neck and even the bottom of my ears, and especially the back of my neck, because this is where I get really cold for some reason. So I just wanted something super squishy and super bulky, and then I just put my coat on, and it even helps keeping it closer to me, to my face, and that's how I go out usually. And I definitely look dumb, but I don't care because I'm warm. So that's how I wear it whenever I go out, and it's just absolutely perfect. So nothing to say about that, it's just perfect. And whenever I'm inside, like today, I'm probably needing more warmth around my shoulders and everywhere else than my neck and face, so that's why I was wearing it like I was in the beginning of the episode, so it's still difficult to manage. Something like that. Yeah, so that's it for my finished object, which I am absolutely in love with. And I mentioned in the previous episodes that I was planning, or was contemplating maybe writing this as a pattern, if there was enough interest, but there were some people that wrote in DMs and in comments that they would actually like to have this as a pattern, but then I figured there was definitely not enough people for me to go through the effort of writing a pattern, and I got lazy and I figured there are other stuff I want to do other than writing a pattern that nobody cares for, so you won't have a pattern. This is just for me. However, I can share with you some other contenders I was about to maybe cast on if I just didn't decide to do my own thing. So the first one I considered was the Satellite Shawl by Andrea Maury. But I couldn't make it work with the amount of yarns I had, and also it's a little bit more complicated because there are short rows and stuff, so it's yeah, it wasn't working out with the amounts I had in my stash, and I didn't want to have to buy more to make it work or to have to modify the shape too much, so yeah, I didn't do that. The one that's the more that's the closer from this actual shape is the Get Your Fade On by Susan Sommer. It's more long, but you can definitely do more increases before starting the section where you go straight, with decreases on one side and increases on the other side. But this one has an apply dye cord, I think. So I'm not sure, I haven't bought the pattern, but it looks like it. So there's that, and same, it wasn't working with the yarns I had. I just couldn't make it work easily. That's it for this one. And then I also considered a lot of Stephen West pattern, and in general all the shawls from Andrea Maury could have worked. But yeah, it's just what the complicated part was the amount of yarn I had. So that's what I decided to do this. So basically this one works with any amounts because I just divided what I had in two halves, and then I just worked it up. That's it. So that's it for the first finished object. You also probably noticed, I am wearing a knitted garment also. So this is the... I completely forgot the name of the garment. I did that a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, so... It's the cowl shoulders crop top by Park and Knit. I remembered. So I did that maybe 2 years ago, and it's a raglan top design. The detail is also on the back here, and it has some lace on the shoulders. That's really nice, and I really like the general look of it, but I wouldn't especially recommend the pattern. Because if you look at the pattern pictures on Ravelry or on Instagram, you can see all the garments, without exception, are crooked on one side. And you can definitely tell like it's looking like this on everyone. And I noticed that before buying the pattern, but I thought maybe I can still buy it, read through it, and maybe understand what's going on and maybe correct it myself. So I did, I bought the pattern, and then I noticed the issue is that this lace is written like lace is usually a yarn over and knit two together's combination, and that's what forms the holy fabric. But the problem is it's a combination of yarn over and knit two togethers, but you will have to mirror it at some point so that you get a symmetrical image. And the issue is that it was written with yarn overs and knit two togethers here, but also on the shoulder, which means it was spiraling, because if you wanted to have something really symmetrical, you need knit two togethers on one side and slip knits on the other side, so that the decreases are mirrored, because they are leaning decreases, which means they are leaning on one side, and if you make them all lean on the same side, it's spiraling. That's the same as when you knit, like for example, when you do the decreases for a hat. There is a Pearl Soho hat, I think, where all the decreases are leaning on one side, and you can definitely see the spiral. So of course, the garment was not symmetrical, and I was just like, this is so basic! And I couldn't believe anybody pointed it out. I couldn't see anything on the pictures or on the project pages. I don't know, maybe nobody noticed. I had no idea, but it was bothering me so much. I just rewrote the whole lace chart. No, it was not even a chart, it was just written out. So I just had to rewrite the whole lace instructions as reversed on this side, which was pretty tricky because, yeah, it was tricky. And I'm not a lace knitter, so I was not used to it. So yeah, I had to do that myself. Super annoying, but it worked out in the end. There's that, and also it's not a compound raglan, obviously, and this is a need for the pattern, so it's not a design problem, it's just how it is. But what you can do easily to make a raglan fit well and doesn't need a compound part is to have the raglan be larger on the front than on the back, and they are the same size on the front and the back here, so it just means that the whole thing is getting pushed to the back and it just rides up even more. And if those lines were a little bit further apart and a little bit closer together on the back, it would just make a better fit overall. And that would have worked with the lace, but it's not there. And the last thing is that there were no short rows at all in the collar, because you can do short rows in ribbing, but they were not there. So this part was actually coming up to here, and it was choking me. It was impossible to wear. I just hated it. And it's knit top down, so I had to insert a needle at the end of the ribbing, cut the ribbing, cut the neckband, unravel it, reuse the yarn and knit on that direction while doing some short rows. So now you can see that the front is coming lower than the back is, because I did some short rows to make the back higher. So now it's much better, but it's still coming too high because the raglan is not spaced well. It's not spaced in the best way possible, so I don't really like it. But it's still it's so lovely, and I really like the look of it, but yeah, it just doesn't fit well, so yeah. And also the yarn is a tiny bit itchy. I guess it's a non-superwash BFL from West Yorkshire spinners, the DK weight, and the colorway is Fossil. And it's soft, but I am super sensitive to yarn and it's itchy. That's it. And since this is coming too high, it's even more annoying because it's really bothering me because of the itch factor. So that's another thing. And another thing that I don't really like is whenever I move around, the shoulders tend to move up and then it just looks like a halter top thing, but the shape is kind of between tip of my shoulders and halter top, because a halter top would be like this and this would be cool, but and this is cool also, but this is weird. I think. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. So all in all, I am not really wearing that because it's not exactly comfortable and flattering either. Or not flattering, but I don't really think it's the best shape it could be. So there's that. I did another modification. It's the cable here are supposed to just end here and then you have only stockinette, and I made them continue on the side because it looked better, I think. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, I'm kind of debating what to do with this one because it's so cute, so lovely, now that I have arranged the lace stitches. But yeah, maybe I will reknit it and move the raglan line a little bit and use another yarn that will probably drape a little more on the shoulders. I have no idea, I don't know. To be determined. But anyway, for a podcast episode, it's okay. I can survive with the itchiness. So that's it for what I am wearing. And let's get into the works in progress. Actually, I only have one, and it's the Inclinations cowl by Andrea Murray. And here it is. I'm on the middle of a row, yay! I think I will just finish that before showing. So, as I said, this is the Inclinations cowl by Andrea Murray, and it looks like a shawl for now. But it's a cowl, so you probably know it. It's a pretty well-known design. And I am knitting it on 2.75mm needles, so pretty small. And I am using 3 different yarns. So the black color is Woolly Mammoth Fiber Company. This is a special blend from her. It's the Twalples and Blue Texel. It's a black, natural black yarn. Slightly brown, but mostly black. Very lovely, very rustic. I wouldn't say itchy, but definitely rough. But it's not really itching. You can just feel the... no, not the prickliness. You can just feel the texture. It's not smooth, but it's not itchy either, I guess. And the purple one is a combination of also Woolly Mammoth Fiber Company. This is the Natural Sock Base. It's a natural sock base. It's a sock yarn and it's only natural, so no nylon and not superwash. And this is the Wildflower light colorway. It's a light lavender purple kind of. It's a leftover from another project, and I'm using, this is Penny Lane Yarns Kid Silk Lane. It's a kid mohair, pretty standard, hand dyed. Penny Lane is from Switzerland, and it's the first mohair I ever bought, and it's also leftovers. So yeah, this project is mainly to use up leftovers I had, and this is a ball I bought because I just wanted to try out this black yarn to see if I would want a sweater in it, but I think it's a little bit too rough. I don't know yet, I haven't blocked it, so... But this is back in the shop, by the way, and I think... I have no idea the quantity that are left because there was a shop update a few days ago, but I guess it's still available if you would like to try. Super lovely, I really like it, very sturdy and very hard wearing, I think, so pretty nice for a natural black yarn. And this is listed as fingering, but it's definitely sport, maybe even DK on its own. And I mentioned in the previous episode that Emma, the maker and dyer behind this, when she first launched this blend, she said it was a fingering and you could hold it double to use it as DK. And she did two projects. The first one was the sweater and another one was the beret, I guess. Holding this double to use at the DK gauge, and I have no idea how she managed that because this is so thick. Yeah, it's a woolen spun yarn and the meterage is maybe 360 meters. So for a woolen spun, this meterage is definitely sock in my opinion, but and now she's doing another project where she's doing a sweater holding this double, and she's saying it's Aran weight, which is correct in my opinion, and I'm like, how did you get a DK gauge before that with the other sweater and hat project? I don't know, but holding this double is definitely Aran and it's super lovely. So yeah, I'm just making progress on that, and this is the, I have no idea which side is the wrong side, but this is the back side. And this is the front side. So yeah, very lovely. And the way this is constructed, you are casting on one tip here, and then you have a straight edge going on here, and then you start doing no increases anymore, which gives you another straight edge in this direction. And then here on this side you only increase every time, I mean all the time, until you get to the circumference you need to get a cowl. So I still have a little bit more to go because I can join it on the back here, but it's a little bit snug. So I still have, the ball just fell and rolled so far away I cannot even get it back, so it will just stay there until the end of the episode. Yeah, so I still have a little bit more to go, and then I can start the decrease section and then bind off and sew it up, and this shouldn't take too long anymore. So this is my only work in progress and should be done in a week, less than a week. The other kind of work in progress I have, hi, it's a pillow. So last time I showed you this one. This is using leftovers, both of them actually are using leftovers from the first quilt I ever tried to do, and I completed the quilt top, but I was afraid to then quilt on it, so I decided to use my leftovers to do some more blocks and combine them into cushion covers or pillow covers. I never know what's the difference. Is there even a difference? Is that an American or English difference? I don't know, but yeah. So that I could practice the quilting on a smaller thing before doing it on the real deal. And it's working out great. So this is the back. You can probably see the quilting. Kind of. So yeah, it's great. I'm happy, and yeah, I just completed another one, but this is taking a long time. The quilting takes a long time, obviously. So yeah, this one I will gift to my parents, and I have the other two. It's almost the same as this one, but it's just have a different border color, to my brother, and then I have another one exactly the same as this one, and then I will be done with this project. And I'm probably not going to show you anymore because by next episode I think I will have gifted them already, so I won't have them, so please enjoy. You can see them for the last time. This is cushion number 2, this is number 1, and I really like them. Super cute. That's it. That's all I have to say. Now I wanted to share about a future cast-on I want to do next week, I hope. So let me tell you a story first. I have bought a long time ago, last summer, one skein of boucle yarn from Explorer Knits and Fibers because I wanted to try it out and see what it was about, if I would like it. And it's super lovely, like, it's amazing. Super soft, super squishy, it's just, I understand the hype, super cool. And this is not alpaca boucle, this is merino boucle. It's a DK weight yarn. And I bought the colorway pollen, which doesn't really suit me, but it's super lovely anyway. So I had this single skein of yarn laying around and I didn't know what to do with it. And I figured maybe I can buy some other boucle yarn in a future shop update and do color work or something like that. And Explorer Knits had a shop update last week. It was the monochrome shop update, and you probably heard about it because it was all the rage for the weeks before, because it was advertised so hard in a good way. I mean, it was really cool to see all the project planning and the palettes and the color palettes and everything that Ali had put out. It was super lovely to just follow the advertising behind it. But apparently it was way too much advertising, because the shop update closed in 45 minutes, I think, even less. No, I think it was 1 hour and something. I have no idea, because all the shop updates happen at 7 PM Mountain Time, which is 3 AM in Europe. And I love yarn, but I'm not about to put an alarm at 3 in the morning on a Monday morning, just before starting my work week, just to get yarn. And she said the pre-order should stay open for 24 hours and I will close it early if we hit capacity. Yeah, I couldn't buy anything because when I woke up in the morning it was closed for a long time. So whatever, my plan was to I wanted to buy the colorway Fear, which is a green, forest green, and Chinle. I have no idea how you say that. It's like a brownie purple, Bordeaux purple, I don't know, it's super cute, super beautiful, I really like this color. And I had an image in my head, I wanted to make the Teddy Zip by Joanne Ho and have the body in Chinle, one sleeve in Fear and the other sleeve in Pollen. Like, can you imagine how amazing it would have been? So cool! But there were two issues. The first one was that I didn't have enough pollen to complete the whole sleeve, because the Teddy Zip has a super big gauge of like 11 stitches by 10 centimeters, and I needed to hold, this is a swatch by the way, I needed to hold on the first part here, the boucle double with one strand. This is Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. I just have it in black in my stash, but I was planning on buying the other colorways once I could get the boucle colorways. So that I could get them, see the real color, and then buy the Filcolana accordingly. But I just had the black laying around and that was enough for swatching, so I swatched with that. So I held the boucle double here with one strand of Filcolana and I could hit gauge, but I didn't have enough pollen, as I said, to complete the whole sleeve. And pollen was not in the monochrome collection, so I thought maybe I can switch plans and knit something that has a tinier, smaller gauge, so that one skein is enough, because I can only hold this single with one strand of Filcolana, so that I can get more mid-range out of that, because I'm not holding it double. So I did another swatch, I mean the same, but here I hold it double and then I hold the boucle single in this part. You can barely see the difference actually. But this gauge is more like 15 stitches, which is exactly the gauge of the Doppio sweater, which is a raglan design. And I figured, what if I cardiganize the Doppio and make a jacket out of that, and intarsia sleeves, so that I have the same idea of the Chinle body, one sleeve in Fear and the other sleeve in Pollen. It would look so cool, so perfect, so amazing. And I have already done intarsia, so I know it's not that tricky and it could definitely work. So that was my plan. And then I missed on the update. So I had to reconsider, and while I was thinking about it, I saw on my desk I had two yarns laying next to each other, and it was the Nutiden by Honor Oak Air in the colorways Omge, and it's not Seid actually, it's the Merkel 2022, but it's very similar to Seid. Basically, Merkel is more like a purple, a dark purple, while Seid is more like a Bordeaux, really dark wine red. And I saw these two next to each other, and I suddenly remembered I also have dark green. This one is... I forgot the name. I will write it on the screen. And then I realized that they look perfect together. I could totally do a jacket with these instead of the boucle, since I don't have the boucle. And I have quite a bit of all of those three. I have something planned for this one, but those two are big quantities of leftovers that I don't know what to do with. So it was just perfect. So yeah, I just went on Filcolana website and I chose some colors that would work with those three. I ordered them and they should be there next week, and then I can start on the most epic jacket ever that I actually really need, because I have a super big coat for the winter that's like very big and large and long and everything, and super warm. And then I have small leather jackets, but that's all. I have nothing in between somehow, so I just need a big chunky jacket that's warm, but that's not a winter huge coat. So this is perfect. I'm so excited about this one. So there's that. In a way, I'm happy I missed out on Explore Knits update. Actually, I'm not. I'm trying to convince myself that it's a good thing, because the Filcolana is so much cheaper than the boucle, and I already have the knitted end, so I think it's a really good thing in the end. But I just need to let go of the amazing idea I had with the Explore Knits update. Actually, I even put together another color palette, because I was still undecided whether I should try to use pollen or just leave it on the side and just find another palette. And I found, I got inspired by the picture of the cool palette she put out for the collection, and I just loved it so much. And I put together another color scheme using velvet, drift and woodruff. I have a picture and it looks so good, so good. And can you imagine a teddy zip or a doppio jacket, bomber style jacket, using velvet as the main color and one sleeve in woodruff and the other sleeve in drift? So nice! But it will never exist, at least not for me. Anyway, so maybe in the future, if she puts some other shop updates, and maybe I can buy them one by one in different shop updates, I don't know. I will see. I just complete this first jacket using knitted end, probably fall in love with it so hard that I will knit 3 of them, and then I won't ever need a boucle one. But we will see. That's my next plan. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, so talking about plans, I can share with you my knitting journal. I actually talked about it in depth in my previous video, which is a knit and chat. You can go and watch that if you're interested. I will put the link here. But today I will only talk about the monthly spread I did for next month. Because you probably know Nidhi Nati. No, Nidhi Nadi. That's how she says it in her podcast, so I guess it's Nidhi Nadi. She, last year, or the previous years, she was doing the planner thing where she showed her monthly spread knitting plans for each month. And I just enjoyed watching that so bad. Like, I really liked it. It itches the planner satisfaction in me that I cannot really get to in real life because I'm not organized enough and I don't have the time. But I figured, if I like this so hard and so bad, like, I can try at least. Maybe it won't work, but at least I can try. So I completely copied her spread style, and here is the January one. And I did one for next month, the February. And I definitely wrote février because February is so difficult to say and I find it really ugly. So février in French is much better in my opinion. Whatever. So I figured I can maybe share with you each month the past month, if I have managed to stick to my plans or not, and what I'm planning for the next one. So first, for January, you can see here I had all my plans for the month. So I wanted to finish the little crystal spillover, which I did. I wanted to complete the brioche wrap, which I did. One day too late, but still in the month of January in my opinion. I wanted to complete a few granny squares for my blanket, which I did. I wanted to do some hexes for my other colorwork blanket, which I did. I wanted to cast on some mittens, I didn't, and I probably won't next month because the teddy zip just jumped on top of the knitting list, so probably took over. I wanted to cast on the Inclinations cowl, which I did, and I wanted to do some progress on the quilt pillows, which I did. So we're pretty happy about that. So for next month, what I'm planning to do is still progress on the Arctic Mornings blanket, which is the hexagonal colorwork blanket I showed you in a few episodes. And I'm planning to finish the Inclinations cowl. I have a test knit for a summer garment I need to do. Still progress on the Guanisco blanket. I have socks I need to knit for someone. I want to complete the 2 cool pillows, and I want to do the teddy zip, as I mentioned. So I just planned the next weeks with those projects. So this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And the last week is only 3 days, I think. And I haven't planned it yet because I don't know yet how it's going to go. So we'll see how it works. Basically, each week is kind of similar. I want to do 1 hexagonal colorwork thing for the blanket. And I have 1 main project that's usually very bulky and that stays at home, which was this one for a while. And I have 1 smaller thing that I can take around with me, which is this one for now. Kind of, because it has 3 balls attached, so it's still very bulky, but yeah. So that's what's going to happen for the month of February, and I'm very excited about this, and I get so excited to just cross the lines and say to myself, ha, you followed your plans. I don't know, it's so satisfying to me. I love it. So yeah, for the next month, I just have a little post-it note, and I just write on it. I'm about to have to change the battery, but I just write on this the very next plans I want to do. And then I have another spread at the beginning of the journal where I have the general plans that I want to make. And this is for the first 6 months of the year. Alright, battery change, and there are some interesting stuff happening behind me. I'm not sure what's causing that. Oh yeah. That's it. Actually, it looked pretty, so why not? Anyway, so yeah, that was my knitting journal and my knitting plans for next month, and we will see how well I do. For now, the January month was nice. I liked it, and it probably pushed me to finish this, because actually I was so done with it by the end. But yeah, the fact that I wrote like finish 1 section in that week and then finish another section in the next week and everything, it just kind of helped me to set smaller goals for myself that were more achievable than just knit without knowing how far I'm getting with the whole thing. So I think it really helped. So that's a good thing, and I'm pretty satisfied with all of that. That's it for today, I think. I can show you, I don't have new footage of me climbing. I still go climbing a few times a week, but I can't really film myself because usually when I go, the bouldering gym is very crowded and I cannot really put out the camera and everything and tell everyone to just stop climbing so that I can go alone on the wall. So I don't really have that much new footage, but I figured actually I could go back and show you some older ones. I'm thinking about one in particular that's pretty funny because I'm actually jumping around and it looks fun. So I can show you that one, and maybe some other if I can find some. So there's that. Stay tuned if you want to see more footage of me climbing. I think next week I will do a special video. I think I have quite a bit of garments I need to frog. I mean, it's not I think, it's I know. It's mainly the first sweaters I have knit or just stuff I tried out, because actually I used to, but I did that more at the beginning of my knitting journey, knit from scratch and just I wing stuff and I just try knitting techniques I like, I just try garments, shapes I love, and I just want to try stuff out. And I also did that a lot with the first patterns I knit. I just followed the general directions and then I did just what I wanted with the numbers and the dimensions. So I have a lot of stuff I have tried that didn't really work out. A lot of them did and were pretty cool results, but yeah, I still have quite a bit of backlog of old garments I never wear, and just the yarn is sitting there unused and it's a shame. So I think I can do a whole video about all the garments I need to frog and why. And I also probably have quite a bit of garments I want to give away because they don't fit me, but they are perfectly fine. They just don't fit me or I just don't like them. So maybe I will include that. I just have to see how many frogging I have to do so that it doesn't make a 2 hours episode. Yeah, it's mostly sweaters and summer knits because summer knits are so fast to do. It's less of a... I mean, it's a little bit less scary if it doesn't work out because you don't have lost that many knitting time because it's just like 10 days for me. So yeah. That's probably the next video that's going to come out, so you can subscribe if you are interested and want to see that. And I think that's it. So you can also give me a like if you enjoyed this content. That does really help me out, and it also makes my heart sing. Whenever I see a like, I'm like, oh, someone enjoyed it. It's just so nice for me to see that, so yeah. Don't hesitate to click on that like button if you enjoyed this. And yeah, I will see you next time for the special frogging video. And if you're not interested in that, in 2 weeks' time for another podcast episode. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoy this, I hope you enjoy your knitting, I hope you find time to plan if you like to do planning. And yeah, happy knitting. Bye.